Let us begin by reading the word problem out loud. Janelle is participating in an art contest. Her rectangular canvas has an area of 1,728 square inches. The length of her canvas is 36 inches. Find the width of her canvas. Let us begin our strategy for problem solving by analyzing the problem. Keep in mind that the first thing you want to identify when analyzing the problem is what it is you're asked to find. In this case, we're asked to find the width of her canvas. So the key word being width of her canvas. So now that we know what our unknown variable is going to represent, let us go ahead and jump to step 2 and assign the variable. I'll go ahead and state it as the following. We'll go ahead and use the variable x, and we'll let it represent the width of our canvas. So again, ideally, assigning the variable is simply the question reworded in the form of a statement. So now we'll go back and analyze the rest of the problem. So we know Janelle is participating in an art contest, and we know that she has a rectangular canvas with an area of 1,728 square inches. So that's going to be key there. Just some key things to know is going to be rectangular canvas, so we have a shape, and area of 1,728 square inches. So we already have ideally an equation that we can create. So we know that we're working with a rectangular canvas. So go ahead and draw a rectangle. And since it is a rectangle, the formula for the area is going to be length times width. So I'll go ahead and use x and y, where we know x is the width of our canvas. So therefore, y is going to represent the length. And they also told us actually that the length of our canvas is 36 inches. So now we have that length is equal to 36 inches. So we're going to go ahead and substitute that into our equation. So our equation is going to be area is equal to the width, which is x, so I'll go and color code that in green, multiplied by the length, which is y, but now we know that to be equal to 36. So ideally, x times 36, well, that's the same thing as 36x. Again, multiplication is commutative, so we could go ahead and rearrange the order. But even better, we know that the area is 1,728. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute that in for a. And that's going to give us that 1,728 is equal to 36x. And that's actually going to be the equation that we're going to be working with. So 1,728 is equal to 36x. So now that we have our equation formed, let's go ahead and solve it. I'll start off by bringing it down. And now what we want to do is we want to get the variable x completely by itself. So right now the problem is that we're multiplying it by 36. We want to undo this multiplication, and the only way to do so is by the opposite operation. So the opposite operation of multiplication is division. So we're going to have to divide both sides by the value we want to eliminate, which is 36. So on the right hand side we have a 36 divided by 36. Those simplify out to give us a 1x, which is simply the same thing as x. On the left hand side, we're going to have to do this division. So we'll go ahead and do it off to the side. So we're going to have 1,728 divided by 36. So now the question is, how many times does 36 go into 172? And we're going to fit 36 4 times into that. So now we're going to have 4 times 36, which is going to give us 144. We're going to go ahead and subtract these two values. So when we carry out the subtraction, we end up with 28. So now we're going to go ahead and bring down this 8. And now our question is, how many times does 36 go into 288? And the answer is 8. And it just so happens that 8 times 36 is indeed 288. So we end up with the remainder of 0. So then x is going to equal 48. So now we know the value of x. So let's go ahead and state the conclusion clearly. Keep in mind that the question was, what is the width of our canvas? So we'll go ahead and state it as the following. So we'll have that the width of our canvas is 48 inches. So now what's left to do is we have to check the result. So again, we start off with the original equation. So 1,728 is equal to 36x. But now we know the value of x, we're going to go ahead and substitute that in. And we know x is equal to 48. So on the left hand side, there's nothing to do there, so we're just going to go ahead and bring on down the 1,728. And on the right hand side, we're going to have to simplify this. So we're going to have to go ahead and multiply this out. So we'll have 36 multiplied by 48. So 8 times 6 is 48. So we'll bring down the 8 and make a note to add a 4. And now 6 times 4 is 24. Plus 8 gives us 288. And now we have to bring down the 0 as a placeholder. So we're going to do 3 times 8. And that's going to give us 24. So we'll bring down the 4 and make a note to add a 2. So now I'm going to do 3 times 4, which is 12. Plus a 2 gives us a 14. So we're going to have to go ahead and add these up. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. Make a note to add a 1. So now we're going to have 1 plus 2 plus 4. And that's going to give us a 7. And now with the 1, we have 1,728. So the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. So our solution is correct.